let's get into today's mantra. You ready? Let's do it. This is a really nice one, and it's actually just me asking you a question, a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it. But it says, what if you woke up tomorrow with only the things you were grateful for today? What if you woke up tomorrow with only the things you were grateful for today? Thought provoking, isn't it? When I read it, I went, ooh, it was like, in the background, like the car coming to a dead halt. And if I was only grateful for you today coming to my class, boy, do I have an amazing amount of things to be grateful for. So if you're not grateful for anything today, you're going to wake up tomorrow a pretty lonely soul. So some food for thought. I hope that really helped. And just some nice thought provoking vibes as we start this new month of September. Okay, friends, dumbbell. Like I said, I'm using one 20-pound dumbbell. You don't need to feel the need to use that heavy of a dumbbell, but it's here. You'll see I'm bringing mine over here. We are going to start on our backs today, and we are actually going to start in bridge pose. So bridge pose. Now, if you don't have weights with you, you can still do this whole class with no weight. That's okay. I just wanted to remind you that you have that option to use the weight. Now, if you only have something smaller on the house, like a pillow, use it. If you have something that maybe a stack of books, use them. I like to give you all the options. So don't limit yourself because you don't have a dumbbell, okay? So we're gonna start lying on our backs today, and we're gonna bend the knees. The feet are gonna be hips distance, and we are going to simply lie on our back. Now that weight is off to the side. We'll get there momentarily, not that long. And the first thing I want you to do is let your arms rest at your sides. Once you're all settled, once you have your props, on your next inhalation, friends, just start to engage your pelvic floor. We do this by taking that low curvature that moves away from the mat and just simply press it into the mat. So letting no space between your back and the mat, especially in that lumbar region. Now exhale through the nose and release. Come back to the natural curvature of your spine. On your next inhalation, whenever that occurs, go ahead and engage your pelvic floor by pressing the lumbar spine into the mat. If you were to take your two hands, you can't even get in between your low back and the mat, friends. That's how you know it's engaged. Exhale through the nose, release. Come back to the natural curvature. Inhale, engage. So we'll do this for a few more times. Exhale through the nose, release the spine. And then again, inhale, engage. Exhale, release. Inhale once again, engage your pelvic floor. Exhale, release. Good. Now inhale, engage your pelvic floor. As you finish your inhale, now lift your hips to the sky, bridge pose. Don't really worry about how high up you go. Just try to keep that level of engagement through those pelvic floor muscles. Exhale, lower the spine down to the mat, one vertebra at a time from top to bottom. And then come back to your natural curvature. Inhale again, activate. Once that lumbar spine presses into the mat, now lift the hips. Finding your bridge pose. Good. Exhale, lower back down. Breathing in and out of the nose, friends. You know how to work the Ujjayi breath. And then inhale, engage, lift your hips. Keep your hips up for the exhale here. Good. Now, as you inhale, I want you to take your right knee and bring it up over the right hip. So we're slowly finding a march. Exhale that right foot down. Inhale, lift your left knee. Good. Exhale it down. Inhale the right side. Exhale. Keep the pelvic floor engaged, rotating one leg at a time. And when you can, you'll notice the feet will stay flexed. So the legs will come to a 90-degree angle. They'll remain the entire time. And you're going to feel those glutes turn on, friends. One more march on each side. Once that second foot comes down, slowly lower down. Once your spine is safely there, hug the knees into the chest. Now you might notice already clearing out the cobwebs, as I like to call it. Breathe into your low back. Take this time to situate the shoulders far from the ears. And then take this time to open and close the mouth, just releasing the jaw. Even now taking happy baby, you can find the arches of the feet with your hands. You can find your shins. You could even find your hamstrings, friends, swaying from side to side, just breathing into the low back. I just thought we'd bring in the weight element to today's class because we're starting a new month. We want to be strong in our movement. We want to be fluid in our movement. We want to be balanced in our breath. So what a better way to do that is to bring in that element of strength training. Now from happy baby, come back as you prepare for bridge pose, reset your spine. Now, if you'd like to use the weight, you're going to take that weight, be very gentle as you place the weight right on top of your pelvic region. Now, I'm going to show you this from the side. So I told you I'm using a rather heavy weight, not necessary, but it's there. Once you get yourself situated, sometimes I even like to place a towel underneath the weight if it's too intense. And from here, what we're going to do is I'm holding onto that weight, securing that stack of books, whatever you're using. Inhale, press the low spine into the mat. And now just lift the hips to bridge pose. And then exhale, slowly lower down and relax. Exhale here. Inhale, engage and lift. And exhale, slowly lower down. Now what you're going to notice is the glutes, the hammies, they are going to turn on rather easily. So lifting the hips on your inhale, lowering down on the exhale. Each rotation of breath is a different rep, and we are engaging the glutes. Now, soon enough, we're going to start to execute that marching that we did a little earlier. Now, if you know right off the top of your head, this weight is too heavy, I've chosen a weight that is not working for my body, friends, at any time, you have my permission and my encouragement to just remove the weight. You can do this complete exercise without the weight. The weight is equally through the heels, under the big toe and baby toe. We'll just do a few more reps, inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. Now, if and when you're ready, on your inhale, you're going to hold your hips up, secure that weight with your hands, and then start that march. Now, this will be obviously challenging. My triceps, my elbows are on the ground to help balance my body. If the marching doesn't work for your body, then just get rid of the march altogether, or keep the march, get rid of the weight. Now, I know my pants are black, my weight is black, so it might be hard for you to see the weight, but I promise you it's there. You'll notice for most of us, the breathing is a little bit more challenged. The heart rate is up, and good morning, happy Tuesday to those glutes, the back body, those hamstrings. Hips stay nice and even. I want you to give me 2 more rounds on each side. That's a right, left, and a right, left. Once you're done with those 2 rounds, slowly lower down 1 vertebra at a time. Oh, friends, you want to feel like you're marching through water. If you need a break, take the weight off. Otherwise, we're going to inhale, simply lift the hips, and now we're just going to stay up and pulse. Squeeze and release. This is such a great way to add that strength element to our yoga practice. We've done bridge. Think about in the lifetime of your yoga practice. How often have you done bridge? How many times? Countless, right? Well, when you add in this weight factor, whoo, anybody? Woohoo. And you'll hear it in my voice. You could hear it in my breath. And pulsing for 3. Keep breathing for 2. And 1, and release. All right, take that weight off to the side. We may use it 1 more time. We will see. For right now, I want you to hug the knees into the chest once again. That weight is off to the side. Exhale the legs over to the right. Just a nice, gentle twist. Your right hand can rest on the outer left thigh. Your left arm can reach long away from the body. Just melt that left shoulder blade back into the mat. And then inhale, bring your legs across the center. Exhale them over to the second side. Right arm reaches far, right shoulder blade heavy, back into the mat. And just notice how this feels for you. Notice any sensations that you may feel. You might notice pain, resistance, tightness. All are pretty typical, friends. And then come back to center. Keep your arms out to a T. Now I want you to think nice and slow with the legs. Bring the knees up toward the chest. Keep your legs glued together, knees, ankle bones glued together, and exhale either direction. Just come into a nice big rotation. The toes might even brush the mat at the bottom of your rotation and come all the way back up and around. We're going to continue in the same direction. Forearms, shoulder blades glued to the mat. You're going to also feel this, friends, through the pelvic floor. Now, we started today by engaging the pelvic floor. If you need to come back to where we started, just bring this rotation as you were earlier, just preparing for bridge. And remember, the lumbar spine presses into the mat on your inhalation as we engage. Now that we have that and we know what it feels like in our body, we can utilize that and build on for exercises and sensations such as this. And once your toes hit the bottom of your rotation, go ahead and change direction. So if you were moving clockwise, move counterclockwise and vice versa. And what you're going to really notice, friends, the larger your rotations with your knees, the more you're going to feel this engagement. Yes, in your pelvic floor, but how about those abdominals? How about right underneath the navel, the transverse abdominals? Not always easy to get to. And once they engage, we can really say that we're clearing out those cobwebs. Give me 2 more rotations. Keep your shoulders far away from the ears, checking in with your breath. Excellent, friends. Now, what I want you to do when you're done is just extend your legs long and then reach overhead, point your toes. Really engage length in the front of the body. Breathe into your abdominals. And then exhale. Bring your knees back into your chest. Give them a nice hug, even floating the nose up toward your knees. Always nice to start with strengthening work, and then we can get that out of the way and get back to our traditional yoga practice. Release the feet back down. Let's take one more bridge pose from here. Inhale, engage, lowering the lumbar spine into the mat, then lift the hips. And if you can, interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll your shoulders to the midline. You'll then extend those arms out long. Press your outer forearms and wrists into the mat. And continue to press your hips up. Breathing into that stretch. You'll feel a nice lengthening through the hip flexors, through the abdominals. Good. Release your palms, slowly bringing one vertebra at a time back down to the mat. Once your spine is safely there, friends, cross the right ankle above the left knee. Using your right palm to the inner right thigh, gently press away. We'll get into a deeper external hip opener a little later in our practice, I promise you. We might even come back to the same one where we interlace behind the opposing leg. As you exhale, release the cross of the legs. Inhale, cross your left ankle above the right. Press your left inner thigh and palm together. Great. Breathing into that left hip. And now remember how we activated our pelvic floor, right? We press that lumbar spine in. As you create this space in the left hip, go ahead and activate your pelvic floor once again. So a couple things today of layering on. So I know most of you are familiar with our yoga practice in this posture, but notice how we activate the pelvic floor in order to just layer on, if you will, those challenging elements. And then release your pelvic floor, release the cross of the legs. Take your feet the width of the yoga mat, and then flex your feet, just the heels on the mat. Let's rotate the knees. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Breathing into your low back, breathing into your hips. We've done a bit now for the low body, and I want to do one more set of glute activating exercises and strengthening. You can use the weight, or you don't need to use the weight. I'm going to start without the weight. So come back to bridge pose once you're all settled. Get your spine safely onto the mat, palms resting at your sides. Now, on your next inhalation, cross your right ankle above the left knee. This may sound familiar. We just did that. Keep your right foot flexed. Now, on your inhalation, press through your forearms, your palms, and your left foot. Lift your hips to the sky. Good. Send that right shin forward and away from the body. Good. Exhale, lower down. Just a few more of those. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Now, as you can tell, I personally don't need the weight added, but if you wanted to add a light weight, you could place it on your pelvic region. That is fine as well. Just a few variations of our bridge pose today and ways that you can not only stretch out that right hip and glute, but also strengthen and tone the left glute simultaneously, activating your pelvic floor each time you exhale, bringing the pelvic floor down. Inhale, activate, and then lift the hips. Good. Just a few more here. Breathing, inhale as you lift. Exhale through the nose as you lower. Good. Exhale, lower down. Once again, if you unravel the knees, just hug the knees into the chest. Sometimes I'll even tap the outer booty, just waking it up. There's no shame in your game, friends, especially if any body part falls asleep. It's really, again, if I always joke, I say if you're over 40, right, you'll really, really, really feel the need for those love taps. Release your feet back down. On your next inhalation, cross the left ankle above the right knee, flex your foot. And then when you're ready, engage your pelvic floor. Inhale here, lift your hips. Pressing the shin on the left side, far and forward away from the body. Exhale down. Inhale to rise. Lower down, pressing firmly through the right foot, through the right shoulder blades, forearms and palms. You might feel one side naturally is stronger, if you will, than another. These are just great ways to learn about your body, to remain curious. Remember, you can take that weight, place it back onto the pelvic region. Because I opted for a heavy weight initially, you won't see me using that with a single leg. Not today, anyway. Today feels like a Monday, right? After a long holiday, my body is still catching up with, what day is it? I'm like, it's midweek body, it's Tuesday. Anybody else with me? All right, friends, 3 to go. Exhaling as you lower, spine safely on the mat. Pressing up for 2. Last one here. Excellent. Release the cross of the legs. Hug the knees in wide toward the shoulders. This time circling the ankles, wiggling the toes. Change direction of the rotation. And then once again, friends, take your happy baby. Humor me, friends. You love happy baby as much as I do. Could be worse, right? I could have had you in a chair pose for the millionth time today. All right, take your peace sign fingers around your big toes, straighten the legs out for a straddle, or you can always stay in your happy baby if you prefer. You can even straighten the legs into the straddle, sliding your hands up to the inner thighs. Oh, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm feeling a lot better now that those strength moves are behind us. Releasing the posture, gently rock up to seated. Now, this is where you can get this weight all together. You can get it out of the way. Maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe we won't. I like to keep you all guessing. You know that, right? Now, as you come back up to seated, see if you can straddle your legs nice and wide. This is a great time for hydration. I love that you take it upon yourself to do so. That's what I like to see. You don't need my permission. And from here, friends, we're going to flex our feet, really getting comfortable with our foundation, right? This is also where you can add a block. I'm going to grab one just in case if I feel the need to use it. It's not necessary, but it's there. Remember, if your back feels curved, like you want to just hunch forward because it's too tight, narrow your base. Notice how much I narrowed my base, and now I can sit up nice and tall. If you're there and you're not in a very wide straddle, broaden your base. So see, play with that. Flex your feet and feel that you can sit up nice and tall, maybe even with hands free. Okay, I want you to feel the stretch through the hamstrings as much as you feel it in those inner thighs, in the adductor region. Now, as you flex your feet, draw your toenails toward your shins. Inhale, circle your arms up nice and tall. Exhale, twist to the right. So left hand to the right thigh, right hand will come behind. Stay tall for the inhale. exhale through the nose, deepen your twist. You'll feel this especially in that inner left thigh. Good. Inhale, come to center, reach the palms high. Exhale, twisting left. So this is really working, obviously, the spine, but also that right inner thigh, keeping your chin away from the chest, keeping the crown of the head reaching tall. Inhale, center, reach to the sky. Exhale, twisting right. Keeping your belly engaged, breathing in and out of the nose. Inhale again, come back to center, circle the arms. And exhale, twisting left. Good, friends. Come back to center. Inhale, circle the arms. And exhale, palms to center. Beautiful. Now, into the sides of the waist. On your inhalation, you can use your hand on a block, on your shin, or even on the inside of the leg. Inhale, right arm up, draw a big rainbow, and come over. This is not about going 100%. This is just about seeing how far feels good for your body. Breathing into that right oblique. And then exhale, come to center, sitting up nice and tall. Feel the belly engage. Inhale, left arm up and over. And again, friends, you're about 40, maybe 50% effort here. Just starting to engage the side muscles. Good. Inhale, come back up to center. Take your exhale, really soften in, re-engage your foundation, and then inhale right side, maybe 60, 70% here. And then exhale, come back to center, and then inhale, left arm up, reaching to the right side of your space, about 60, 70%. And then exhale, come back to center. Beautiful. Block in hand or not. Inhale, circle the arms up. You can even lift the block. And then exhale, hinging forward. Now your arms are straight out. Place your block to medium height. And then just come again to about 50%. So yes, I'm feeling the stretch. Yes, I could go further. Inhale, come all the way back up. If you can, lift the block. Exhale, hinging 60, 70%. Block is now for me on the lowest setting. Be playful here. Be curious about your body. Inhale to rise. Lift the block if it's comfortable for you. And then exhale, coming to your deepest expression. Now that might be right back to where you were. Maybe that means no block. Maybe the block slides closer and your forearms are on the block. See what feels good for your body. Take another deep breath wherever you're at. Exhale, come all the way up, lift the block, and then just lower the block. Excellent, friends. Now, we're going to keep the block right where it is, but bring your legs to a big diamond shape. So we're just changing our foundation. This is going to be all about the mid to the lower back. I'm actually going to set my block at an angle. The block is going to be resting on my heels. The other part of the block is on the ground. Now, on your next inhalation, reaching through the crown of the head, just let your hands rest on your shins. Inhale here. And then exhale, hinge forward. My elbows are just going to stay on my inner thighs. I'm only able to go down about 50%. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, I'm going to slide the elbows closer to the block, maybe 60%, maybe 70%. Inhale to rise all the way up using your foundation. And then exhale, I'm going to slide my elbows toward the front of my shins, chin or forehead to that upper portion of the block. About 80%. Inhale all the way up. Feel the length in the body. We're doing a dynamic sequence on purpose, friends. Exhale, hinging forward. Now, this might be your 100%. Does that mean you need to move the block? Maybe so. Maybe forehead to toes, maybe forehead to heels, maybe forehead to block. Inhale to rise, come all the way up. Feel that energy pulling the crown of the head tall. Exhale, hinging forward. Now that block might be moved to the side altogether. You might even go a little deeper. Maybe this is 110%, friends. Maybe your old 100 wasn't enough. That is up to you. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. Good. Nice lengthening through the mid back. Come into Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Now, once again, your block may be used on top of the feet, maybe not at all. Maybe set in front of the feet. I like it at the tallest setting. It's really going to be up to you. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, hinging forward. Now, I did not cue to open the feet like a book like I usually do. We're not there yet. I promise we'll get there. Inhale, tall. Exhale, hinging forward, maybe forehead brushing the block, maybe not. Inhale up. Exhale, hinging forward. Notice how my heart is reaching beyond the block. Notice how the navel is moving away from the pubic bone. Inhale, tall. This time, friends, make it count. Exhale, find your deepest expression. Now, many a times, friends, I'm going to move the block for you to see. We've opened our feet like a book. That is an option. If you want to go a little deeper, you'll find that is helpful in those adductors. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, fly your butterfly. Keep the crown of the head reaching. Excellent. Take your hands behind the legs, unravel the legs to the width of the mat, just the heels, and let's windshield wiper the knees. Breathing into your internal, your external rotation of the hips. Now, it's been a while since I've seen you on the mat. And if you haven't been to your mat lately, you might be noticing I've made my Gumby reference before. Some of you were so helpful. I can now tell you all about the Gumby that started in the mid-1950s, and I won't go into it. You know who you are. Thanks for those. There was more than one of you that sent me info, and I really appreciated that. I also found it hilarious, right? Super funny stuff, friends. All right, now we're going to extend our legs long. Give your legs a love tap, just the backs of the legs briefly. I want to get into the quads. The front body, just as important as we've been focusing on the back body. Now, I know some of you have knee issues. Do what you can with this and make any adjustments, even sitting on a block. Keep your left leg extended, bend your right knee. You're going to point your toes. You're going to press through the toenails, and you're going to sit just like so. So if you can't see me, I just want to show you for a moment. My right knee is bent, and I'm pressing my knee into the mat, and I'm getting a nice stretch through the quad. Now, I've gone over foundation variations before for this pose. If this doesn't work for you, you'll know it because your toes will be facing the right wall. If your toes are facing the right wall, this pose might not be for you, and that's okay. And you can simply stay extended and work on those hamstrings or kneel on sitting on a block. Really up to you. On your breath, inhale, left hand is going to come into a block, or you could even use the mat and press the block or the mat away from you. That's going to take you from feeling like a timber tree that's fallen over to keep you up nice and tall. Right here, friends, this is where I want you to feel it, right in the quad. Look at your right toes. They should be facing the wall behind you, just checking in. Good. Really focus on that foundation. Now, if you can sit upright without the help of the block, this next part is for you. If you need that assistance, please, please stay here. Respect your body. For those of you that are seated upright with ease, take your hands behind and then slowly come down onto your elbows, pressing your knee firmly into the mat. Your elbows will stack under your shoulders, and you might even look to the sky. Breathe into that right quad. Breathe into that right hip flexor. Just one more breath here. Good. Exhale. Come all the way back up. Now, this next variation is for friends with the hands to the block or sitting upright without any assistance. Inhale nice and tall. Wherever your hands go is fine. And then exhale, hinge forward. Now working on that left hip flexor. If your hands are able to come forward, you'll frame the left leg. If not, you'll keep your hands to the block. Continue to press the block away from you. And then your right palm will come forward. Give me one more breath wherever you are, keeping your left foot engaged. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, for the right knee, for the right leg. Shake it out, friends. Now, as much as that may be uncomfortable, please remember you're the expert of your body. I want you to determine if it's pain, definitely come out of it. If it's discomfort or something interesting, as I like to call it, it could just be that we're creating space in the knee joint, because that's what this sequence is about. On your next inhalation, I've switched my block over to the right side. Extend the right leg, flex the foot, Bend your left knee. Now, this side might be a completely different story. If you needed the block for side one under the sit bones, maybe you don't for side two. That is really going to be dependent upon your specific scenario. You might sit on the block. Use the other block if you are needing it on that right side. Press the block away. See if you can sit upright. This means your left sit bone and your right sit bone are both on the mat. How does that feel? Check your toes. Are they facing the back wall? Good. If not, if they're facing the left wall, no, no, no. Amy says get out. And I don't mean get out of the class. I mean get out of that posture, right? You don't want to hurt yourself. I figured I should clarify. On your inhale, friends, you're sitting up tall, or you are taking the hands behind, slowly coming onto the forearms, onto the elbows, nice and slow. And in the process, keep the Ujjayi breath flowing. If this is not friendly for your quad, please stay upright. Continue to press your left knee firmly into the mat and breathe. This is such a good one for the quads. You'll feel this as well in the hip flexor. Breathe, and then slowly come all the way up. Once you find yourself seated upright, right hand returns to the block if you'd like, pressing the block away, or hands can be free. Exhale, hinge forward. Now, if you hinge forward, one hand or both, framing the leg. Doesn't matter to me how far you go. This is about that right, that right hip flexor. If you feel like Frankenstein, it's a little early in the season, but hey, the unofficial end of summer is behind us. I like to keep summer going till September 21, but hey, what do I know? Give me one more breath. On your next inhale, friends, come all the way up. And if you're ready, sing opera with me. Exhale, free the leg, shake it out, place your weight into the hands, and just windshield wiper the toes. You know what the good news is? Our seated postures are all done for today. Yay, we made it. All right, you could swing those legs around when you're ready. Apparently, my tongue got to work out too. I didn't even know how to say around there for a second. When you're ready, let's come into table pose. But if you can, take your hands from here, spin your fingertips to face your knees. Let's come right into those wrist extensions, friends. I want to get into that upper body. I would never want you leaving class thinking that I didn't give you a full body experience, right? Breathing into the forearms. Now, you know how it works. Inhale, send your heart to the front of your mat. Tuck your toes if you'd like. Exhale, sit toward your heels and really find the length. In the back of the forearms, this feels really nice through the hands, through the wrists. Do what you can. Remember, if you're having an ongoing saga, right, injuries or limitation, do what you can. You can stand against the wall, takes gravity out of the situation. It's always a great option. All right, friends, and then bring your hands onto the thighs, sit to your heels, just take a moment, self-massage. Who doesn't like that after a nice, long, lengthy glute and quad and hip session? Hamstrings too, right? And then give yourself some love taps on the quads, bending at the fingers, just breathing into the forearms as well, even the sides of the glutes. I do anything I can for free. It's my favorite price tag, okay? So I'm gonna give myself extra bang for the buck. You should too. All right, friends, come back into your table pose. And then how about some good old cat-cows? On your inhalation, grip the mat with your fingertips. That's gonna help those wrists as well. Glide your heart through the biceps. Lift your tailbone, lift the gaze to the sky. Arching the spine into cow. And then exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. Lengthening the back of the body, stretching the upper back. Inhale, yet again, find your cow shape. And then exhale through the nose, rounding into cat. And inhale, arching into cow. And we'll do one more exhale. Deep breath out into cat. Good, friends. Back to your neutral spine. From here, inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, send your sit bones up and back. Let's take our first down dog. Start to walk your dog. We're going to stay here for just a few breaths. One heel at a time to the mat. You're bending the opposite knee. If this isn't working, you could also come to your forearms. You could also stay in table, depending on where you're at today with your wrists with your hips, with your knees. Great job, friends. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Good. You could bring your blocks with you. Hands can be on blocks, or you can now just catch opposite elbows for ragdoll. If you're looking at the ground, see if it's comfortable for you to look between the knees. From here, you could even close the eyes and then let your elbows, let the crown of the head hang heavy. And then feel free to just move slowly side to side, moving to the rhythm of your breath. I always want this move to feel excellent. As you decompress the spine, we're using gravity as our friend. We're working with gravity. You might even feel the weight travel toward the toes, the feet a little bit more than the heels here. Exhale, release the palms. And then inhale, tone your belly, reach wide. And then come all the way up with a nice flat back. Reach to the sky. And then as you find your exhale, cactus shape the arms or goalpost the arms if you're a football fan. Squeeze your shoulder blades. And then exhale, simply let the hands come down to your sides. Really nice. Hands will come to your hips, feet a little wider than hip width. We're going to practice with our balance. Feel free to use the wall, not necessary, but you may feel more comfortable. Inhale, draw a big circle with the right knee. And then inhale with the left. So just alternating. You can move at your own pace here. Each rotation larger than the last. So try not to be in a hurry to create the rotation. I'm even really slow to put my foot down, really focusing on the standing leg, that opportunity to build strength, as well as to build stability in those core stabilizing muscles. Breathing, each inhale, each exhale completes one rotation, then another breathing cycle for the next rotation. And friends, we're going to take this to the opposite direction. So when you're ready, you're going to start with the right, bring the knee out, crunch your oblique, then in and back to where you started. And then out, in, and down. Good. Flex your feet as you come out, in and down. Inhale, lift out. Exhale, in and around. Keep your foot flexed, drawing your toenails toward your shin. That's going to help to activate those outer glutes, those outer hips. And as always, I remind you, the breath might be a little bit more labored, especially on this direction. From most yoga students, the feedback I get is this way is a little less unnatural, or a little less natural rather. So unnatural, this way feels a little more challenging. Really nice. Just one more on each side. Excellent. Now come to the center of your mat if you're not already there. Take your feet the width of the mat. Soften your knees. And then let's move right into those effortless arms. You might be able to predict that this move will be in nearly every yoga class I teach. So important for our spine. So important to build that relationship with the body. Just help us notice the signals our body is sending us all day, every day. And to take that step to slow down enough to listen to your body. I'm slowing down the breath. Let your body slowly come back to center. Take your time. Once you find yourself centered, still, just notice the sensations. Notice your breath. Blink your eyes to open, wiggle the fingers, circle your wrists. Really nice, friend. All right, now we're gonna come right into warrior three, but we're gonna do so with the hands interlaced behind the back. And then I'm gonna grab my yoga blocks in the front right corners of your mat. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come from warrior three with the hands behind, like so. And we're gonna release the hands and open right up into warrior Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So from warrior three with the hands bound, right into Ardha Chandrasana. So if you're using yoga blocks, place them there. If you're not, that's okay. Your fingertips can come to the mat. Right foot is going to be our base as we do a nice but short balancing section. But I believe in you, friends. We've got this. Now, whether or not you want to bound your hands, that's going to be up to you. Another option, you can use a strap and just hold the strap behind you and then just drop it when you're ready to open up. So it's really going to be up to you, focusing on balance and the core. Now, on your inhalation, interlace your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together, reach for your heels. Now, engage your glutes, engage your quads, stay with that level of activation. Now, on your next inhalation, start to hinge at the right hip. Your left heel will raise. Now, you might come parallel to the ground or any angle that's comfortable for you. Hips are even, left toes are facing the mat. Now, as you start to exhale, start to lower the right hip, stack the left hip, release the fingers, and then right hand will come to a block. Continue to stack your left hip, and then eventually that left hand will come all the way to the sky. Keep breathing. Keep your gaze to that spot on your yoga mat right beneath. Now, as you exhale, left hand to hip, and then lower the left hip to meet the right. Still hold on to that block. Hips are now even, left toes facing the ground. Inhale, press off the block. Left foot meets right. Woo, shake it out. That right leg, with that rotation, friends, that never gets old. I promise you, it's good for your hips. I promise. How about the second side? Okay, thank goodness we only have two sides. All right, set up your blocks, set yourself up. Whatever worked well, do it again. Whatever didn't, don't do it. On your inhale, interlace your fingers. Keep your breath flowing. Reach for your heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Continue to breathe. Your left foot is glued to the mat. Now, as you inhale, hinge forward, lift your right heel. You're lowering your heart. Take your gaze down to the mat. Find your gaze. Now start to open up your hips to the right side of the space. Right hand to hip, left hand to your block. Take your time to finish that rotation. And then when you're ready, right hand is going to float to the sky. Breathing here. In and out of the nose, holding Ardha Chandrasana, bring the right hand to hip. Now lower the right hip to meet the left. Turn your right toes to face your mat. And then slowly pressing off, right foot meets the left. Shake out that left side. Did you do it? You did a really great job. Great job, friends. Yogi squat, malasana. You can use that yoga block now right at the center of your yoga mat. I'm going to remove my other block. I don't need it for this posture. Feet wide on the mat, externally rotate, and make sure you trust yourself to sit on the block. I don't want to see anybody going all the way down on their elevator, if you will, if they only meant to go to the block floor, whatever that means, right? Palms to heart center. Inhale, nice and tall. Engage your glutes, engage your adductors and quads. Keep them engaged. Exhale, start to sit. Remember, you can stop halfway here, sumo squat, or take the elevator down to your block. If you're not using the block, that's okay. Press your knees far apart and toward the wall behind you. Breathing here. Now we're going to come all the way to the top to come all the way back down. Inhale up. You've got this. I know. Clear out those cobwebs. It helps with your mobility, friends. Ready? Inhale tall. Exhale all the way down, halfway, all the way. Maybe the block is now gone. Voila. However you spell that. I used to know. Inhale all the way up. Thank God it's not a spelling class. Exhale, hands to hips, toes on the mat, and rotate. Nice big rotations. You've got this. See, we took a few days off, right? Especially if you didn't do any yoga, your body is going to feel very grateful, I'm hoping, by the end of class, if not already. Change directions, my friends. Sometimes I think about time, and we started these online classes during the pandemic. We are 4 months away from 2025. This is amazing. And I'm so glad y'all keep showing up, because otherwise I wouldn't have anybody to teach, right? Side to side, breathe. It's nice to connect. It is nice to move our bodies, and having that consistent schedule, right, is what is so important. All right, shake out your legs, shake out the arms. You might want to move that block off to the side. That is up to you. And let's come to the front of our mat. It's time for a good old vinyasa. Modify as necessary, friends. When you're ready, inhale, circle your arms up tall. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bend your knees as much as you'd like. Inhale, halfway lift, keeping your hands on blocks or shins. Exhale, palms to the mat, step back, find your plank pose. First plank of the day, knees can come down here. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, hug your elbows into the ribs, lower halfway. Inhale, cobra shape. We're gonna stay in cobra for just a bit. In cobra, inhale, look over your right shoulder, press your left shoulder blade back. Inhale, center. And then exhale, look left, press the right shoulder blade back. Exhale, center. Inhale, float your knees if you can, up dog. And then exhale, press back into down dog. Walk your dog. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. So good. And then exhale, knees to the mat, friends. Let's sit to our heels if you can. Big toes to touch at the center. Spread your knees the width of your mat. And let's extend your arms. Forehead will come to a block or to your mat for child's pose. Really important here that you spread your fingers wide, press firmly into the mat, and then press the mat away from you. This will take your sit bones a little closer to your heels. Spin your triceps inward and up to the sky. Breathe into the lats. This will ignite that region around the shoulder blades. And then exhale, relax your elbows to the mat. Bring your palms to prayer. And then inhale, bend through the elbows, and your thumbs will rest between your shoulder blades. If you want a little more in your shoulders, you could always raise your elbows onto blocks. I like the lowest setting for the blocks in this particular posture. Breathe into the underarms, breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your triceps. And then exhale, release the palms, slide your elbows to the knees, blink your eyes to open, friends, and then slowly come all the way up. Bring your legs around. And I remember earlier on, I told you we had finished all of our seated postures, and I meant it. Let's come to our backs. No weight needed, I promise. All the tough work is behind us today, friends. Unless you're coming to my class this evening, then you might think it's challenging one more time today. All right, on your next inhalation, bend through your knees. Remember all the bridge poses we did. So pretend you're preparing for bridge. Instead, inhale that right ankle above the left knee, flexing your foot. Option like we did earlier, right palm to the inner thigh, or if you feel ready, interlace your fingers behind your left hamstring. Your right elbow will come to connect to the inner thigh. Keep your right foot flexed to protect your knee. Left leg can be straight, heel to the sky if you want to stretch that hamstring, keeping the knee bent. To focus more on that right hip. Breathing, you can sway side to side, you can stay centered. Both are equally as valuable. And it's so nice to slow down the movement, the breath, the heart rate will lower. Good. Releasing the fingers. Keep the cross of the leg. And then on your inhale, your right foot will come down toward the left edge of your mat. And now your right arm will create that goalpost shape. Your left hand presses into your inner right thigh. Pressing that thigh slightly away from the body, you're going to feel a nice stretch through the outer glute, the outer hip. This area of the body is not always the easiest to find. This is a great pose to allow the breath to work with the body's effort to create space. Take another breath here, friends. Good. Exhale, release The cross of the legs, you'll come back to center. Take your feet the width of your yoga mat. This time, leave your toes on the mat and then windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So sometimes we'll flex our feet. This time, we're just relaxing the feet. Breathe into your low back, your hips, your glutes. Exhale here. Come back to center when you're ready. Cross the left ankle above the right knee. Left hand or left elbow can contact with the inner thigh. Right heel to the sky or knee can be bent. Just a reminder to keep your left foot flexed, toenails drawing toward the shin to protect the glute, the knee, the hip, swaying or finding your center here. Checking in with your breath, breathing in and out of the nose. Good. Release the hands. Keep the cross of the legs. Your left foot will come toward the right edge of your yoga mat. Right palm to the inner left thigh. Left arm creates that goalpost shape. And then gently press that inner thigh away from the body. Breathing into, you'll even feel this through the left abductor. You'll feel this through the left oblique and the outer hip. The more you can soften your jaw, tongue in the mouth, the more you'll notice that left side body can soften down and let go. Now come a little closer to the mat. Breathing into the depth of that posture to really let go. And then exhale, releasing the cross of the legs. Come back to center, feet wide on the mat. And again, you'll find that rotation. Windshield wiper from side to side. So therapeutic for the body, friends. Deep breaths, centering into the hips, glutes, the low back. Really nice. And then bring yourself back to center. Reset your pelvic region if needed. Inhale, cross the right leg over the left leg once or twice, depending on what feels good for your body. And then slowly drift the legs over toward the left side. Coming into that twist, right arm reaches far from the body. You might even tuck your right toes behind the left calf. This will allow for a deeper twist. And friends, I want you to really allow yourself to let go here. We're going to stay for a few breaths. So you might lose the second cross of the legs. That's okay. We're just staying in our twist, but letting gravity take over, doing all the work here. Close your eyes, breathing into the body. Just telling the hips to let go. Releasing through the inner thighs. Relax the shoulders. The arms. The toes. And then wherever you are, take a deep inhale here. A long sigh to let go. And then slowly unravel the legs. Once you're centered, crossing the left leg over the right side once or twice. And then slowly lowering the legs over to your right side. Make any adjustments that feel good for your body. Your left arm will reach far from the body. Your left shoulder blade may come back onto the mat. And letting go through the toes, the ankles. Breathing into the knees, slowly releasing the inner thighs and hips. Soft through the body. Breathing, Ujjayi breath. And then when you're ready, take in the longest breath of your practice. Allow for a slight pause and let it go. Unravel the legs. Come back to center. Bring the knees into the chest. And friends, feel free to take any other postures that you may need for your practice. Maybe another happy baby, maybe another twist. Distancing the shoulders from the ears. When you're ready, inhale, bring the nose to the knees. Create a nice small shape with the body. Pause at the top of your breath. And with a big sigh, relax. Let your natural breath return as we take rest in Shavasana. Lengthen your breath. Soften the jaw. Notice what it feels like to really let go. What if you woke up tomorrow with only the things you were grateful for today? And take a deep breath in. A long breath out. And when you're ready, gently wiggle the toes, the fingers, the ankles and wrists, even a slight turn of the head side to side. And when you're ready, inhale, reach your arms overhead, lengthen your body. And exhale, hug the knees to your chest. Take a moment, sway from side to side. And then roll to your most comfortable side. Take a moment for gratitude, telling your body, thank you. And when you're ready, friends, pressing up to a comfortable seat. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide your practice today. I hope you enjoyed our new moves, and I hope you feel refreshed. And I can't wait to do it all with you again, yoga and meditation on Thursday, friends. Have a great Tuesday. Take some time for yourself to relax. Namaste. Great job today. Take good care. Love y'all. Bye-bye.